we are going to talk about triggers. So the reason this is really coming up, I find with fertility, there's so many things that can be triggering, right? When we're on this fertility journey. I don't need to list them all because I'm sure you know what you find is triggering or not. But what really prompted this talk now is this kind of observation that I've had for the past couple months when creating a fertility community and getting access and information to women in this fertility space, right? Women who are dealing with infertility and wanting to get pregnant. So we just had Easter, and I noticed on an Instagram post that somebody had posted that it is insensitive to be posting a pregnancy announcement on Easter. And I get it. Pregnancy announcements are very triggering, right? You see someone else announce their pregnancy, and then you just can't help but think all of those reasons why you're not. And that's really painful. And I get that. The thing that really stood out to me was when I had a conversation with this lady. She told me that 100% of her followers agreed that it was insensitive to be posting a pregnancy announcement on a holiday because they are wanting to create a safe space for everybody. And I totally understand that. You want to have this safe space. But the issue that really comes up with this is now you've created this community where you can't share the excitement, or we're now guarding it from people who are being triggered by it. And I think that creates this kind of self-fulfilling prophecy of not being able to get pregnant. And now there's a fear and a stigma around what's going to happen when you do get pregnant, because now you're the one in the club that reached the goal, if you will, and now you're no longer be a part of that goal. There's going to be hidden resentments and tensions, and it just creates a really interesting dynamics that I'm really curious about and trying to expand and really trying to understand how this all happens. And really, it's then how do we deal with these triggers? Because we're now in these containers or these communities where everyone wants the same goal, but as soon as someone reaches the goal, it's triggering to the rest of the people in the group. And that's kind of a big issue. So we need tools to deal with what happens when somebody in our group gets pregnant, because it's going to happen, right? And if it was us, you, the one getting pregnant, you're going to want everyone in your group to be happy for you. So it creates a really interesting dynamics. And here is my, I guess, offering. So I get it. I understand being in that space and being triggered. So if you don't know my background, I used to work as an ultrasound technician at a OBGYN clinic, and we were joint with a fertility clinic. So we had fertility patients in our clinic too, and we worked with those patients. And I myself was going through my own fertility struggles. There was a time when I was literally watching my baby miscarry. I would check in and notice that the growth wasn't up to par, or the heart rate was slowing down, or even after I had miscarried and I was bleeding and I was still going to work every day scanning pregnant women. Okay. When I was going through my own miscarriages, before, during, after, I was still scanning pregnant women every day. So I get it. Having those triggers in your face sets off this whole reaction in your body, and it sucks and it's painful and you don't want to deal with it, and you just want to hide under your bed and not have to face any of these issues. But the reality is you can't completely shield yourself. That's not a sustainable life or an exciting life, or it's not going to help you in any way getting pregnant. And I know this. I was there. And I don't mean to know your situation. I honestly understand that everyone's situation is unique. So I am simply here to offer what I did, what worked for me. And if it resonates with you, I hope that this can help you too. So it's now really allowing ourselves to get curious about this trigger, because what's behind that trigger, if we can shift that, I guarantee you, your outcome will be completely different. So behind that trigger, if we're going to allow ourselves to get really curious here, is probably some belief that it's not possible for you. And that's the thought that you have running through your mind, which is programming your body to create that outcome. So our triggers are what show us where we have loving to do, or where we can love ourselves more, or where we can change those beliefs. Our triggers are really kind of like our window into seeing what the issue is. So we can allow ourselves to get present with our triggers. We are going to be able to move through them. Okay. They are going to provide us with information that is going to help. And it's only by facing them and embracing them that we can do that. So let's give an example. You see a pregnancy announcement and you feel really triggered. So we have two options. We can choose to respond or react. Most times we react, right? How dare they post that? I'm happy for them, but it makes me feel terrible inside, right? All of the comments, that's what we react. And how insensitive that they would show that to me on a holiday. All of those thoughts, that's reacting to it. But our other option is to respond. So if we can be present in how we want to approach these situations, it's going to really help us. So how does it look like to respond to a situation? This is where it helps to have a daily breath work practice or meditation practice that you can use to center yourself, regulate your nervous system, tune into your emotions. When we practice this on a daily basis, it's then available for us when we are triggered. And we can use that when we are triggered to get curious, dig deeper, and understand the belief behind the trigger. Okay, does that make sense? So we create this daily breathwork practice, and then we are able to access it when we are triggered. So how this would look like in the situation, you see the pregnancy announcement, you feel it's very insensitive to post on a holiday because you are trying very hard to get pregnant and it hasn't worked already. So you just take a moment and breathe. It really helps to bring it back into the body because it's all about our physical body. So placing one hand over your heart, getting stuck on my mic, and one hand over your tummy, and just allowing yourself to be fully present in this moment. And just allow yourself to be present in your body. Notice what thoughts, feelings, memories, or emotions that are coming up, because that thought in your head, that's exactly what's coming up to be seen and healed and released. All right. So this doesn't have to take long. It's simply noticing, oh, that really hurts because I believe I can't get pregnant, or I believe it's difficult for me, or whatever that belief is. Just allow yourself to get curious. Where are you noticing it in your body? You might notice it in your pelvis. You might notice it in your heart. Okay. You might notice it in your head. Where are you feeling it? And allowing yourself to get curious and just hold space for yourself will transform it. Okay. When you bring your breath and attention to it, you can bring in the universal love and gratitude and just acknowledge what you are feeling. Okay. Give yourself that moment to just feel it. I guarantee it will give you the shifts. It will start the shifts by simply acknowledging it. This is what I did every day when I went in to scan pregnant women. And you know what? It was just allowing myself to notice where in my body, where in my beliefs do I feel this is not possible for me, and explore that. Allowing ourselves to get curious and present will help you to unravel and begin that healing process. All right. So we got triggered. We're allowing ourselves to be present in this moment. Get curious about what's coming up. Just breathing into our body will bring that love, will bring that energy. Simply, we bring it in with our breath. That's how we access the life force energy. And then once we are present, bring in a loving thought or a thought you are so grateful for. Bringing in that feeling of love and gratitude is going to help elevate your emotions, because this is where we're going to switch it. Okay. Honestly, if it's possible for them, it's possible for me. If it's possible for me, it's possible for you. You have to believe it's possible. Bring in that desired outcome. Oftentimes when we want pregnancy so bad, it's hard to imagine us being pregnant without the weight of that feeling. So maybe put yourself out 5 years. What would it look like to have a 4-year-old? What would it look like to have a 3-year-old? Maybe don't even put yourself out into a time frame. Just what would it look like when your child starts to play a sport, or when you take your child swimming, right? What does it feel like? Hear them laughing, hear them playing. Imagine yourself tickling your child, right? Having that playful connection. Maybe building a sandcastle, a tree fort, pushing your child on a swing, whatever that memory or that belief, that vision is, bring it in. And if we can create it in our minds, we can create it. Okay. Our bodies know how to create a baby. Like, that's huge. Our bodies know how to heal ourselves. Okay. If you get a cut or a bruise, you don't have to stand there, tell your body how to heal. Your body already knows. It's way more intelligent than we believe. Okay. I just had some interesting thoughts come to mind, and I'm going to share them because I feel like this will really maybe help to expand your mind. You know, I scanned so many people who had some pretty miraculous stories of how they got pregnant. And it was that idea of knowing if it was possible for them, it's possible for me. I scanned this one lady, I kid you not, she had 12 miscarriages and she was at 3 different fertility clinics. And literally after a mindset shift, she came in and was pregnant and she carried the baby. If it is possible for them, it is possible for you. If it is possible for me, it is possible for you. You have to believe that. There is so much more to creating life and growing a baby and pregnancy and creation than just the physical components. Okay, it's not just the egg meets the sperm in a uterus, you get pregnant. If it was that easy, science would have gotten a lot more people pregnant. We can't reduce it just to the physical components. There is a magical creation in there that we don't fully understand. That is way more complex and greater. And it is possible. So what I was going to say was this mention, and maybe this is a completely different tangent, but maybe it ties in, and maybe this is exactly what you needed to hear. But as an ultrasound tech, I have seen every single form of birth control fail. Okay, I've scanned babies when the mom was on the pill. I scanned babies when the dad had a vasectomy. I scanned babies of moms who had PCOS and their doctor said it was impossible for them to get pregnant. I scanned babies of women who had endometriosis and surgeries, and the doctor said it was very unlikely that they would ever get pregnant. I scanned a lady who had, and I can't remember the exact sides, but let's just say her left tube was removed, but the corpus luteal cyst, so the corpus luteum, where that egg ovulated from, was on the left side. She had a right tube, she had a right ovary, she had a left ovary, no left tube. But it was what was ovulated from the left ovary that created the pregnancy. How is that possible? When I was a student, I was working at a tertiary center. Well, through my placement, I wasn't working, it was part of the school, but there was a lady who had an ectopic pregnancy and she went to term. And the ectopic pregnancy was above her uterus. Everyone who scanned her thought for sure that this baby was in the uterus, of course. She carried the ectopic to term. I scanned a baby. I kid you not, the requisition said post-abortion, patient still feels pregnant. And I thought it was a joke. I called the patient in. She's 9 weeks along. I asked her to kind of explain what's the story here. She said, I didn't want this child. I had an abortion last week, but I still feel pregnant. We want to check and see if there's a baby in there. And I was like, are you kidding me? I put the probe down. There was a baby there, fully intact, great heartbeat, great sac, great yolk sac, everything. That was a very happy 9-week-old baby. How does a baby survive an abortion? It's possible. It is possible. We can't control these things. Just like we can't control not getting pregnant, we can't control getting pregnant. We have to open ourselves up to this greater ability. There is something more, right? You have to open yourself up to that possibility. So when you feel triggered in that moment, and all of those thoughts flood your mind, it's not possible for me, it's really hard, I've tried everything I could, blah, 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 whatever that thought is, just hold it. Imagine almost, and you know what, maybe this is helpful, write it out, okay? If you put it outside of yourself, get it out of your head, put it on paper, allow yourself to look at it. Physically looking at that thought now gives you a shift in perspective, okay? It's no longer just bouncing around in your mind, it's out of you and you can observe it. That's very helpful. So allow yourself to be present, allow yourself to be curious with that trigger, and allow yourself to breathe into it. Where are you feeling it in your body? Where are you holding that energy stuck? Allow yourself to breathe. Bring in that feeling of love, bring in that feeling of gratitude, and allow yourself to be present. And then when you feel like your breath is rhythmic and you feel centered, then bring in that desired outcome. Okay, bring in that intention. What is your desired outcome? Right? Imagine yourself pushing your baby on the swing. Imagine yourself teaching your child how to ride a bike. Imagine yourself reading a bedtime story, right? Imagine the snuggles, the laughter, the playing, the jokes, right? The learning, the mess, all of it. Allow yourself to feel it. Because if it was possible for them, it is possible for you. And if it is in your heart and on your mind, then it is for you and it is possible. All right. I hope that was helpful. Triggers happen all the time. And honestly, it is our greatest invitation to heal and to lean into them and to learn and grow and expand. And honestly, I know it sucks and I know it's tough, but learning all of this before you have kids will help you so much. I promise you. It will make motherhood smoother, knowing that you have the tools to regulate your emotions, regulate your nervous system moving forward. All right. It's a beautiful skill that you'll get to model for your children. Okay. So know that you're not alone in this. Know that you don't have to fear your triggers. Know that you have options. Pregnancy is miraculous. Creation is miraculous. there is so much more than sperm meets the egg. There's so much more. So it is possible. Life finds a way every time. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'm so grateful that I could share this with you. If you are wanting some support, reach out to me. I do one-on-one coaching. We have a group app called Bloom, where you can get free meditations and energy shares. There's group energy shares throughout that too, which really helps to boost your energy and your ability to heal, as well as there's workshops. So I teach workshops where you can learn this energy healing, and it's so easy. You can learn it in 2 hours. So definitely check out the information and join along. Make sure that you subscribe to the weekly newsletter, where you can get more tips and tricks and inspiration and stay connected on your journey. All right. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a blessed day.